My name is Sue Burton, and I am the Grandfamilies Facilitator here in Lincoln County, West Virginia. We struggle with high poverty and very high drug abuse.
West Virginia has the highest rate of opioid overdose deaths in the nation. And in the state's southwestern Lincoln County, with parents falling victim to drug addiction, 70% of kids are now being raised by their grandparents. In the town of Hamlin, many of these grandparents rely on Sue Burton to help them pay their bills and for a shoulder to lean on. Burton runs the local chapter of Healthy Grandfamilies, a statewide educational program for grandparents raising their grandkids.
Our grandfamilies have taken the fallback on that by having to raise their grandchildren due to drug overdoses, due to incarcerations, due to parents who just can't function.
Burton says the average grandparent she works with is a widow living on less than $19,000 a year. Women like 60-year-old Felicia Cook.
It's been a long, hard road.
In 2019, Cook's granddaughters, Jada and Tori, showed up at her doorstep, and she's been their caretaker ever since.
It's been me by myself, just trying to do the best I can. Keep them safe, get them an education, get them ready for the big world out there.
My name's Kim Tomlin. I'm a grandmother who's raising 2 of her grandchildren because their parents are drug addicts.
Kim Tomlin is a former hairdresser in West Hamlin, Lincoln County, who's been raising her 2 grandchildren ever since her daughter became hooked on drugs. Tomlin says the whole town is full of stories like hers.
Personally, I blame it a lot on OxyContin. Good people, like good people, for whatever reason, started using.
Many of the largest companies that profited from the opioid epidemic have never admitted wrongdoing for hooking hundreds of thousands of Americans on prescription drugs. Even in 2021, when Johnson & Johnson, along with 3 major distributors, agreed to pay state and local governments $26 billion for flooding their towns with highly addictive drugs, the pharmaceutical giant maintained its actions were, quote, appropriate and responsible. And while Purdue Pharma, the behemoth behind OxyContin, pleaded guilty in an $8 billion settlement, the family behind the empire, the Sacklers, has never admitted fault.
There's nothing that I can find that I would have done differently based on what I believed and understood then.
And many residents blame the Democratic Party for the misery that has swept their county and their state. By the end of Obama's second term, coal production had dropped by 40% in West Virginia, axing 8,000 jobs along with it. Now, what's left of Hamlin is a hollowed-out Main Street with just a few businesses, a 7-Eleven, a funeral home, a hospice care service, and a post office. For the Free Press in New York, I'm Olivia Reingold.